going big in Japan on a solo adventure like no other I've ever experienced.
It's the very famous crossing. Crazy, it's fantastic.
Armed with stacks of online research and my trusty guidebooks, I'm going to discover the history and culture of this breathtaking country.
Wow. Gosh, look at that.
I'm travelling alone, but won't be lonely, as I've enlisted a host of expert locals to reveal Japan's history, culture and secrets to me.
I'm going to have my first octopus ball.
Oh, yeah! Yay! I'll be exploring historic Kyoto.
It is quite spectacular, isn't it?
And tasting all Osaka has to offer.
That's one of the best things I've tasted in Japan.
But the first stop on my solo expedition takes me to the extraordinary capital of Tokyo, where I immerse myself in a culture that takes me right out of my comfort zone.
Is this a dream?
And I won't just be wrestling with culture shock, there'll be literal wrestling too. Wish me luck. I throw out the playbook on British table manners.
It's good.
And I step back in time to an exquisite shrine soaked in tradition.
That deserves a deep bow.
Welcome to Tokyo. So this is it. Jane in Japan. Yorkshire tea to tea ceremonies, battered fish to sushi, and so much more. I can't wait. It's 6,000 miles from Wakefield to the islands of Japan, clustered in the Pacific, east of Asia. My odyssey's taking me to the ancient mysteries of Kyoto and the food hub of Osaka. But first, it's the capital, Tokyo. My connecting flight's in Helsinki, but the downtime's fine, as I need all the prep I can get. I've got 2 hours to kill. In fact, I've got 13 and a half hours on the plane as well, so I'll be able to speak Japanese. Never mind, just learn about it by the time I get off. I've learned konnichiwa, and none of this handshaking thing, hugging, no. So bowing, because it's respectful for any country that you go into to learn their customs so that you don't offend anyone. And you know me, I can offend anybody. So here we go. So, konnichiwa, which literally means good day, or as we say at home, now then, how do? We're here. We're in Tokyo, in Japan, and it is all exciting. My earliest memories of Japan are from travel shows. Even in black and white, the country seems technicolor, and I couldn't have imagined then that I'd see it for myself one day. I'm bubbling away inside, but that could be my digestive system because, I've just had a 13-hour flight. But I don't think it is. I think it's just that I'm really excited about being here. It's just totally different from anything, is Japan. I've never seen so many people either. People seem to walk in lines and nobody jaywalks here as well. Everybody stands at the curb. Fascinating to see. From my research, I'm expecting to be confused, intrigued and excited at every turn. But one thing all capitals have in common is that city centres are the place to be. So that's why I've booked a hotel in the Shibuya district.
Hello.
You are looking.
Fantastic.
Have
Thank
a good day.
you.
Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Ooh, it's my bra size. Oh, here we go. I checked out one of those places you must visit websites, so I'm dumping my bags and heading off to the first spot they recommended. The first suggestion is Shibuya's world-famous pedestrian crossing. No, really, a pedestrian crossing.
It's here. The very famous crossing is actually here. This is what Oxford Circus was based on.
I read that ours was remodelled on this in a bid to ease pedestrian congestion. 3,000 people can cross this intersection of 7 roads every 2 minutes in rush hour without anyone kicking off.
Although it's so busy, it's so organised. There's no horns tooting. There's nobody swearing at somebody going past you. Everybody is waiting. It's crazy, it's fantastic. Up there is Shibuya Sky, and apparently it's one of the best views in Tokyo. It's a very, very popular place. So if you are coming here, get your ticket before you do.
Wherever you are in the world, I've learned if you can buy your attraction ticket before arrival, do. It saves a lot of bother.
Up another escalator. Wow. Wow. Gosh, look at that. It's hard to believe that in 1945 there was absolutely nothing here because it was bombed in the war. And now, look at it. There's just buildings for miles and miles and miles. And they're high as well. But there's always a little park there, isn't there? It's a bit like Central Park, Hyde Park. Now, there's a real massive queue to film the sunset over Tokyo. But I've just found this bit here. There's nobody cottoned onto this bit. Or are we not allowed here? Because that's fantastic, isn't it?
I've read that my beloved Blackpool Tower is 518 feet tall, whilst this stands at 751. Sorry, Blackpool. And try this. Blackpool's home to 141,000 folk. Down there, there's 38 million people. Mind you, it is a tad bigger.
Do you know, I don't know if that is actually mist or smog. But whatever it is, it makes it look mysterious and romantic. Look at this. I hope it's taken. Just my luck, it won't have done. Oh, it has. Oh, yeah. Once in a lifetime, innit? That you get a selfie with a view of a sunset on one of the highest buildings in Tokyo.
After a much-needed night's kip, I'm up early to experience Tokyo's spiritual side, particularly its main religion, Shinto. Google Japan spirituality and you'll get over 71 million results. But I homed in on the city's famous Hijinja Shrine and discovered one of the easiest ways to visit the site is by metro.
So, how hard can this be? I'm here, Shibuya, and I'm going to Tamika Sano, there.
Around a staggering 3 billion people use the Tokyo Metro each year, compared to a mere 1 billion on the London Underground.
Purchase Pasmo. Pasmo lets you go on any train in Japan. It's a bit like an Oyster card.
It's all geared up for convenience here. Buy the card, then use the Pasmo app to top it up. And it's not just for travel. You can use it in vending machines too.
So that's it. That's quite simple. It's really, really easy, even for me. Right, station. And I really worried about Japan because I thought I don't know the language, but they do everything in English as well. So I'm going to go up there because I need G6. I cannot get over how clean it is, how well structured it is. There's even a guard making sure that you get on and off all right. I mean, look at it. It's immaculate. It's so well run. It smells lovely on here. And I feel a bit... I don't want to bring my country down, but maybe somebody should come and have a look how this is run, you know, because this is just second to none. And I'm really having a very pleasant experience on this today. I didn't know how nice it was going to be.
Now, I don't like to be caught short while travelling, so I better spend a penny or a yen. And I hear the public loos are like NASA mission control.
I don't usually do this, but I'm going to take you to see the toilets because I want you to see how clean everything is and how fabulous it all is. But you can't come, all right? So I'm going to take this instead. See ya. Right, it's just me and you again. Me and you. I haven't done this for a while, have I? Right, look at this. Look at how clean it all is. Look.
It's a heated seat. It's like a bidet built in.
It's for your rear. That's for the front. So you've got your pressure. This is the privacy. Privacy means if you're a bit loud or you've got a bit of wind, can't hear you. It's a bit fab, isn't it? I think I'll keep one of them in mind. Can you hear the birds singing? The birds are singing, that's going, so you can't hear anything in here. And this is the public underground in Japan. That's better.
But I'm not here to learn about the smallest drool, but to have the biggest experiences. So coming up, I'll be searching for the meaning of it all when I follow billions who have already learned their fortune at a Shinto shrine.
I feel as if I was strolling on the spring fields with my family. So comfortable. Wow, that's quite emotional, actually, isn't it?
And I discover that bad manners back home are considered good ones here.
Yeah, there you go, there you go, there you go.
I'm travelling around Japan to try and discover what makes this wonderfully different and sometimes beautifully bizarre culture tick. And I'm starting in Tokyo. We all know and use Japanese technology, but their spirituality is just as important here. So I'm keen to understand how those two sides work in harmony. To help me, I've booked licensed guide Yukiko, who's meeting me at the Hii-Jinja Shinto Shrine in Shibuya. Yukiko?
Oh, yes, I'm Yukiko.
Oh,
hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So this is the shrine. Is it a shrine or a temple?
Oh, this is a shrine. The temple is for the Buddhism.
Right.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
I see. So temple's always Buddhist.
Yes, always Buddhist. Yes,
Right.
and the Shinto shrine is for the Shinto. Yes, that is a worship of the nature.
Okay.
Yes, and also the ancestor worship.
Right.
Yukiko tells me that Shinto spirits take the form of many things. Wind, rain, mountains, and even fertility.
This gate is called Torii, and it's a kind of like the boundary.
Right.
Yes, divides the secret area from the secure world. So when we go through, we show our respect to this place.
And that respect is shown by bowing.
Well, actually, there are three types of bow: the light bow, and deep bow, and a between. I think we would like to show our respect to the nature.
So this shrine's all about nature.
Yes, especially the mountain, deity, and also the water.
Wow. Oh, that deserves a deep bow.
Yeah, deep bow.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so let's do it together.
Okay.
In shrine, the middle path is considered as a path for divinity, so we just avoid to walk on the middle. So we
Right,
walk on the
okay.
side.
So you never walk up the centre.
Yeah, that's right.
Shrines are woven into the fabric of everyday life, used whenever people seek peace or serenity, and I can feel its spirituality already.
So before we go into the main hall, we will purify ourselves at here. The purification is a very important part of the shrine.
Right.
So first of all, you wash your left hand.
Okay.
Yes. And then left hand. And then rinse your mouth.
Rinse your mouth.
Yes, don't drink it.
The point of this is to ward off bad luck, disease and guilt. But I'm assuming it's much deeper than atoning for that extra glass of wine I had last night.
In front of us is the main hall.
Uh-huh.
That's where the deity of the mountain is enshrined.
So that's the worship to the mountain.
Yes, worship of the mountain and also the water.
But worship's not the only draw. You can pick up a blessed lucky charm or omamori for victory, health, wealth, you name it.
So let's get a charm here.
Okay. With so much good fortune to choose from, I hardly know where to start.
It's a charm for the travel safety.
Oh, travel safety. Oh, I definitely need one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
So what does this mean?
So it means the road traffic safety.
I will put that in my car. In fact, I'll take it everywhere with me.
Yes.
So every car I'm in should. That'll be great.
Yeah.
So that's my present sorted. What about my future? Well, that's written on a strip of paper called an omikuji. A bit like the fortune cookies we get at home, but without the sugary coating. Is there anything bad in there?
Yes. Actually, there are several rungs.
Right.
Yes, from the best luck to the bad luck. So, but in the case, don't worry. There is a place that you can leave your bad luck.
That's good. So if you get bad luck, you can leave it here.
Sure, right.
I'm pleased about that. They believe it's like hanging out the laundry. Bad luck just blows away in the breeze. I love the poetry and logic of that. How to do omikuji. Right.
So-
Please disinfect with alcohol. And if you shake the box upside, please show the stick.
Yes.
Down a stick will come. That came out to the staff. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm hoping this will be easier than it sounds.
You can just pick.
Just pick one out. Yukiko says omikuji are like horoscopes back home, not taken too seriously, but can sometimes offer comfort. Okay.
What is it?
Wow. I feel as if I was strolling on the spring fields with my family. So comfortable. Wow, that's quite emotional, actually, isn't it? Your fortune, quite good. That's all it is. You can realise almost everything as if you could drive easily on a downhill road. Work hard and belief, and you'll be successful, just like grasses grow, thanks to the rain heaven gives. This is just so beautiful. So this is good luck. This isn't bad
good luck.
Yeah.
This is good luck.
Thank goodness for that. Wow. I was a bit worried about that, but now
So you can keep it.
I will definitely keep that. Thank you. I know we're supposed to bow, but I want to hug.
Oh, yeah. I love this style.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
so very much. I'm really sort of getting the culture here now. It's being grateful. It makes you think when you come to a shrine like this. And it's taking time out to actually be grateful. And this is what this is all about. All the deities that you're grateful for. It's very peaceful and it just makes you feel better. Makes you feel better. It's amazing to think that just meters outside this Zen calm is a high-tech city in motion. And I've an appetite to see more. Talking of appetite, all I can smell is incredible food. Lead on, stomach. I am in the mood for noodles. So I'm going to meet someone who's going to teach me all about ramen, which has got noodles in it. Ramen's very popular here, and I'm going to be honest, I've seen it on all menus back home. I know it involves noodles and soup, but that's all I know. As ever, the helpful internet hooked me up with a local foodie, Frank.
Oh, Jane?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Likewise, nice to meet you.
Oh, great. So you're going to teach me how to eat noodles?
Yes, we're going to dive into some fantastic ramen.
Oh, great.
Ramen noodles.
So I was right. Frank says ramen is a Japanese noodle soup, but way more than our humble minestrone. It's a rich broth with noodles and a selection of meat and vegetables. Do we just go in?
Actually, we ordered from here.
What?
These photos will help us make our decision.
Shall I have a look?
Yeah, please,
See?
have a look.
Now then. It all sounds good. Oh, ramen and dumplings. What's in the dumplings?
So those should be pork, cabbage, garlic, with a nice crispy exterior with the wrap there.
Oh.
So fried dumpling.
So what do you do now? Put that in?
Exactly, right through there.
Woo.
There we go. Now we just need to pick up the tickets there and
Yeah.
your change. We're gonna give those tickets to the staff.
I love this. You just pick it. It's like, right, it's a vending machine, really.
How long before my local chippy has one of these outside?
Thank you. Cheers. Do I give you those? Thank you.
You can also choose the firmness of the noodles. Any preference? We could get, I think, in the middle, like the
Yeah.
normal is a good way to go. To the
Okay.
edge of this. Are those?
Oh, blimey. It's like, how do you want your steak?
Basically.
Yeah, I'll have
you
it
got the whole
medium,
range.
please. Do we all use chopsticks here, or?
Yeah, ramen. We'll be using chopsticks.
Right, so you don't eat ramen with a spoon?
You use a spoon to assist you with the noodles if you like, and also use a spoon to grab a sip of soup.
Okay.
And
Do
then
you
after
use...
that- You could do that, but it's gonna be pretty hot, so I would say, yeah, start
Yeah.
with the soup. Towards the end, though, as that soup cools down, this is also something that's definitely okay to do. Locals in Japan will slurp their ramen, making this vacuum cleaner-like sound when
Really?
they're eating ramen.
Is that not rude?
Not in Japan.
Really?
3 reasons why Japanese will slurp. 1 is that you're cooling it down. Ramen is served piping hot. 2, you're taking in more air through your nose, so maybe enhancing the flavors, just like with wine. And 3, you're complimenting the chef.
Thank you. That's like a 3-course meal,
Yes.
isn't it? All in one bowl.
All in one bowl, absolutely.
Right, here we
So
go.
here, Jeremy, we got chopsticks. Here for you, and for me.
Okay.
So let's consider this the noodle pull. Basically, you're reaching down and grabbing those noodles as such.
How
Grab
come
more
you've
of
got all
them.
them and I've got that?
Oh, it's just because I've had practice.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. It's okay.
Since I've promised to throw myself into Japanese culture, I'm gonna slurp like a local.
It just feels wrong.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say wrong.
It does make sense when you're over a bowl eating noodles with chopsticks. Because your mouth is having to work with the chopsticks.
And to be fair, the noodles are quite slippery, so this is I think you're doing a great job.
I never thought I'd be complimented on my soup slurping. But it's even little things like this which remind me I'm not in Wakey anymore. Coming up, I go in search of the iconic national sport. Before taking centre stage myself, and sticking with ancient arts, I try my hand at the wonders of origami. And I'm taught by a master.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? Never lips.
I'm in Japan on the cultural experience of a lifetime. First stop on my solo tour is Tokyo. So far it's been full on, so I want to reset, take a moment and open myself up to the spirit of Zen. As a child I made paper planes and paper chains, and that was the extent of my origami prowess. But today I get the chance to learn from a true master, and my guide Yukiko's on hand to make the introductions. Yukiko tells me origami literally means folding paper, and it's been here in Japan since the 6th century.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Jane. So he's Mr. Kobayashi.
Mr. Kobayashi. Nice to meet you.
Jane-sanです。
Thank you. Same.
take a
You
seat.
speak a little English, yes?
This is a pen.
It's better than my Japanese.
Very interesting.
Look at you, just, oh. You don't even have to look. You're just
specialist.
specialist. How long?
My company 170 years old.
Wow.
4 generations, my father, grandfather.
Wow. Amazing.
Hearing how long his family's been connected to origami makes me feel incredibly honoured to meet him. It's no surprise my guidebook lists his store as one of Tokyo's cultural treasures.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Rose.
Pair of lips.
England or rose だな。
Oh, an English rose.
あ、そう。
That's amazing. Look at this. This is an art.
I'm mesmerised by Mr. Kobayashi's ability to fold magic from paper before my very eyes.
Oh,
That's for you.
for me. Oh, to
Yeah,
put.
okay.
Yeah? Wow. For me? That way?
Yeah.
Look at that. Is it beautiful, that?
Mr. Kobayashi travels the world teaching origami. What an honour to be taught by him. Here goes.
Samurai helmet.
Right, a samurai helmet.
You know?
Yes. Right, okay.
で、これでスタート。はい。
I've got to make this now.
で、はい、ダウン。少しずらすの。
Like that? Right.
ダウン、まあ、裏返して。それで、こう。
Okay. I've got no idea. Like that.
3 folds in and I'm already lost.
So there. Aha.
Mr. Kobayashi makes this look so easy, but it's really not.
Right. Got no idea.
下ろしてきて。
I was doing so well.
そしたら、これでいい？はい。
Ah.
そうそう。
Fantastic.
Leave it to the experts, Jane.
Do you need any skills to be able to do this?
集中力。
Concentration.
Concentration.
僕はないね。
But you haven't got concentration.
だから。で、ここで、
Oh.
ここでほら。
I'm very flattered. You a joy to be around. I have had the best afternoon with Mr. Kobayashi. All fun. He makes everything fun. And just like we do jigsaws and puzzles at home, this is very, very popular worldwide, but especially here in Japan. I could spend days with that man, and I have laughed so much with this beautiful soul that is Mr. Kobayashi. So thank you.
As my restful afternoon glides into early evening, I'm taking things up a notch. I've booked a night out, Tokyo style. From craft to culture, I'm throwing myself into one of Japan's finest and biggest exports, sumo. But I wanted to find a twist on the traditional. So a few searches later, I found just the place, combining wrestling with food. Very excited today, because I'm here to have the sumo experience. Oh yeah, I've seen them on the telly, but I want to see one up close. So I'm really going to get immersed in this today and learn all about what they eat and what they do and how they get into it. And I've got a little bit more access than normal. And I'm very excited about that.
Hello. Hi, Jane.
Ah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. My name is Aneko. Welcome to our place.
Thank you.
And because you're so a little bit early today, would you like to go and take a look at the kitchen? Just for you.
Fantastic. Thank
Okay?
you. Oh, let's do this.
So this restaurant is very unique because we have the wrestlers actually prepare the food, and they also do the show too.
Oh, that's good. So this chap was a sumo wrestler?
Yes, they retired.
They
Yes.
look very young to be
Oh,
retired.
yes, they're in their 30s. Actually, Joe Koryu, he just retired last September. He was one of the 5 strongest wrestlers
Really?
in the championship. Yes.
So we're honoured today to get cooking by one of the champions.
Yes, yes.
These former champions learned to cook in sumo school, where they counted calories to keep the weight on. In just 2 meals, they'd eat 7,000 calories a day.
Oh, thank you. Fantastic. Chopsticks, right. Hi.
How are are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm Jane, by the way.
Hi, I'm Rachel. This
Rachel.
is Pippa, my daughter.
Pippa. Hi, Pippa.
We're just having a mummy-daughter's trip from Australia.
You've definitely got the look. It's fabulous. Oh, there you go. I've seen them cooking this and it looks really good.
It does look good.
What is that sauce? What is it?
I don't really know.
You don't
Want me
know?
to taste it?
Oh, that's a bit thick, isn't it? Oh, it really does go well with that. But that is delicious. Glad to see me chopstick training with Frank started to pay off. Then you've got your sesame cabbage there, and then this lovely rice. All of it just mixes really well together. If I carry on eating like this today, I'm going to look like a sumo myself. But for the final course, something you wouldn't find in your local buffet restaurant, not without the police getting involved.
Okay, now, are you ready?
This sport's been going on over 2,000 years, and clearly they still love a good duster.
Now, they will show you how to become...
Last time I saw wrestling was on Saturday afternoon telly in the 70s. Now I finally see it in the flesh.
The beginning, tsukari.
And I'm seeing quite a lot of flesh. You've definitely got the look. It's fabulous.
Butsukari Geiko is the last of the daily training.
There's just one rule. Oniko explains that whoever's pushed out the ring first loses.
Guys, back to the ring. Go, 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 Joe. Go, go, go. Otori, ganbare, ganbare, ganbare. Ganbare, ganbare, ganbare. Ah, okay. The first ring goes to Joe.
Audience participation's encouraged. So after that demo, it's time for me to suit up. This isn't right. They don't have lady sumos. Oh, hello. Get my agent on the phone.
Are you ready?
Of course.
Okay,
Born
and
ready.
you are?
I'm Jane.
From?
From England.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, our first brave and beautiful opponent of the day is Jane from UK. Let's give her a big hand.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
so,
you.
now, first,
Yes, I know what you're thinking. And yes, my bum does look big in this.
respect. And to your right-hand side, you give a stomp. Yoisha! Yes, yes. Yoisha! Okay, now you are ready for the match.
I like her optimism. I think so.
Okay? Go, Jane! Go, 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 go! Go, 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 go! Go, push him! Go! Push
Open,
him! Yes, push him out! Push him out!
Okay.
Push him out! Push him!
Yeah.
Push him more! Go! Go! Jane! Jane, push him out! Go!
48 hours ago, I was settling down for my soaps. Now look at me.
Go, Jane! Go! Push him out! Push, 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 push! Go! Go, go, go! Go, 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 go! One more push! Okay! The first winner is Jane!
You can hear the crowd are going wild.
Thank you!
Oh my God.
Okay, now,
That is a lot harder than you think. He's built like a brick. He's built really strong, him, you know. They just stand there and you can't push them or anything, so. But I won in the end, because that's how it is. Coming up, I discovered the Japanese love a French-made cafe, but it's all good, clean fun. Honest. It's just the most surreal place I've ever been in my life. And forget J-pop, I give you Jane Pop, here in the birthplace of karaoke. Go, now go! Walk out the door! I'm doing a cultural tour of Japan. I've started in Tokyo, which is everything I'd hoped for and more. A mix of the strangely familiar and just the plain old strange. And if it's manic by day, it shifts up a whole other gear once the sun sets. And we're going to something called a maid's cafe, which is really, really popular here in Akihabara. It's about dressing up.
There are a whole bunch of these themed cafes here in the central Akihabara district. But if I were expecting the Betty's tea room, my guidebooks put me right. They're more like going through the looking glass into another world.
I've no idea what to expect here. But it looks like this is it.
I'm on the lookout for Tokyoite Tommy, who's going to be my date, presumably not kitted out as a maid.
Hi, Jay. Sorry.
It's
Making you
okay.
waited.
It's
Yes,
okay.
thank you.
Come on in. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. How are you?
Very well.
The idea of maid cafes made me think of 1970s carry-on saucy maid shenanigans. Surely not.
Shall we go in?
Yes, Princess Jane. I'm Master Tommy.
Really?
Maid cafe, princess and master.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Am I a princess today?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm master.
You're a master.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Let's go inside our
Okay,
castle.
Master Tommy. Fantastic.
We're stepping into a real-life experience of anime. It might seem bonkers to Brits, but it's based on fun.
So you spend a wonderful days as a master and a princess, and you're the role model as princess.
It's just the most surreal place I've ever been in my life. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. If we see someone in a maid's outfit back in the UK, it's got a different connotation. Mm-hmm. But here, that's not the case, is it? It's very family orientated.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cute, it's fun, it's an innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Very innocent, yeah.
Because we are innocent.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. So it's completely different to what you think it's going to be.
I've seen many things in my life before, but this is another level. And we get to order pudding.
Sweet little Princess Sunday.
17歳の魔法にかかっちゃうかもしれないサンデーでございます。
So when we have a one bite from the buffet, we're gonna get a 17 years old forever.
So I'll look 17 years old.
Yeah, so we're gonna stay at 17 years
Oh,
old.
fantastic.
萌え萌えなお写真が撮れちゃいます。
Moe moe is cute.
Cute.
It's a slang
Moe
word.
moe.
Moe moe, and we are cute too.
Yeah. Well, I think we're cute. It's Moe water.
Yeah, Moe water.
Hey!
Even the coffee's served up with a dose of cuteness. In Wakey, we just get a biscuit on the side.
ふりふりサクサクして完成させていきたいと思います。
So we're gonna make the drink shake together.
Okay.
Yeah.
ふりふりと言ったらふりふりって言ってください。
So we're gonna repeat the same word as she says.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
萌え萌え萌え萌え。
It's a bit reminiscent of a sit-down hokey-cokey, Japanese style.
シャカシャカ。
Shaka.
ドキドキ。
Doki doki.
ワクワク。
Waku waku.
萌え萌え。
I have no idea what's happening anymore, but I'm kind of getting into it.
Thank you.
ものをしていきたいと思います。
Even though the drinks are already delicious, we can make them more delicious by making some magic.
Okay.
作ってください。
Make heart.
それを左右に萌え萌え。
Moe.
Moe, choo.
Cute.
Cute.
Yes.
Moe, cute.
Okay, so we're gonna do it all together.
Believe it or not, there's nothing stronger than sugar in my shake, but this place has got me right giddy.
Am I dreaming? Is this a dream? But actually getting into it is fun.
まずお嬢様がどうぞじゃ
Thank you. Look, she's so cute.
ーん。
That's because you're Moe.
じゃ
Oh, well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're now performing a magic spell to fill the food with love. I literally cannot believe I have just said that sentence. I blame it all on this massive sugar rush.
Thank you.
失礼します。
It's just like being a child. It tastes like being a child.
Yeah.
No, Japan is full of adventures, but this has probably been one of the most different things I've ever done. Come and let yourself be cute.
But this crazy night's not over. Fueled by the sugar rush, Tommy's run ahead to set up another surprise while I'm escorted there by Frank.
Where are you taking me now?
We are doing karaoke.
Karaoke?
Indeed. You cannot visit Tokyo without having a proper karaoke session. And here we are.
Oh, okay.
Please come on in.
Now this is right up my alley.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Oh, my God, you get a room.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Stage
look.
even. Oh, my God.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Nice to meet you.
Tommy's brought his mates, so it won't just be me hogging the mic.
Hi. So what do? Just get up and sing, or?
Yeah, the stage is there. We could sit from the table, but maybe the stage is more inviting. I think.
Yeah.
We can.
Should we sing then?
Let's do it.
Yeah? All right, come on, let's go.
This is great fun, and I'm getting flashbacks. You can take Jane out of the cruise ship, but you can't take the cruise ship out of Jane.
1, 2. I like this.
So, Jane, what would you like to sing first?
Well, I Will Survive.
Okay,
Big
I Will
disco track. Yeah, to go with the disco ball.
I mean, who doesn't love a Gloria Gaynor moment? It's a classic.
Yeah.
First I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side.
Go on, go! Walk out the door! I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give. I'll survive. I will survive.
There are dogs in Kyoto who can hear that.
It's incredible. Incredible. Oh, I'd forgotten how much fun this is.
On that note, I think we'll call it a night. Tokyo, what a way to start. Wow. This city's so big, brazen and brilliant.
It's crazy. It's fantastic.
So full of warmth, wit and welcome. Then I'm sticking around to discover even more of what makes it and its extraordinary people tick. So join me next time when I meet waiters with wires in a robot cafe,
Wakefield is a city in West Yorkshire.
visit a world-famous fish market where the seafood crackers are, well, crackers.
That's hot.
And I channel my inner warrior when I venture deep into a ninja village.